The Galactic Council Hall was the largest structure ever built in space. It floated between stars, shining like a diamond in the dark. Inside, leaders of over 300 alien species gathered. Tall, short, furry, scaly, loud, and silent. Every race had a seat here, and now, for the first time in history, a human stood before them as Earth's official envoy. His name was Ambassador Kale Rin, and he wore a black suit with a blue crest of Earth on his chest. His face was calm, eyes focused. Cameras from every corner of the galaxy streamed his image. Billions were watching. Kale stood at the center of the great circle. Around him sat the Council, the most powerful rulers in the galaxy. On his left sat the Veltar, a spider-like species known for their cold logic. On his right, the Torvans, war-loving lizards who saw peace as weakness. Kale began to speak in simple, clear words. Earth comes in peace, he said. We offer trade, knowledge, and cooperation. We have no wish to dominate, only to share. Some nodded, some looked bored, others narrowed their eyes. The council chair, a tall creature made of silver gas trapped in a floating orb, floated forward. Ambassador Kale, the chair said, voice echoing. Your words are peaceful, but Earth is not trusted. You rose too fast. You broke limits. You developed weapons beyond our understanding. Kale kept calm. Earth had to protect itself, he replied. We only fought when attacked. We never started wars. A murmur went through the hall. The Torvan general slammed his thick claw. On the table, lies. Humans destroyed the Varnak Armada. You call it defense, we call it murder. Kale raised a hand. The Varnak Armada entered our system and fired first. We responded. We gave warnings. We asked for peace. The Veltar Queen clicked her legs. Too dangerous. Too emotional, too unpredictable. Humanity does not belong among civilized stars. Kale stood still. His voice did not rise. Then why did you invite us here? There was silence. Okay. Cold One, then. Something changed. The lights dimmed slightly. Security bots moved closer. The floor beneath Kale glowed red, a signal that was never supposed to activate during a diplomatic meeting. Kale noticed. He didn't move. What is this? He asked. The chair floated forward. Ambassador Kale Rin of Earth, you are charged with crimes against the stars, aggression, unauthorized technology, and planetary disruption. The council has voted. You are to be executed. Now, gasps, screams, even among the council members. There was shock. A few rose from their seats in protest, but it was already happening. From above, a metal rod dropped down and locked Kale in place. He looked around, calm, but his eyes darkened. He spoke one last time. I came for peace. Earth remembers everything. Then, before anyone could stop it, the floor opened beneath him. A beam of white-hot energy turned Kale's body into dust. Nothing remained that the cameras caught at all. Billions across the galaxy watched as the first human diplomat, a man of peace, was executed by the Galactic Council. For 3 long seconds, the chamber was silent. Then, the Torvan general growled, It's done. Earth is no longer a threat. The chair nodded. End transmission. The cameras cut off. The meeting continued. Some members left, heads down. Others smiled. Some were afraid. The Veltar Queen watched the floor where Kale stood and whispered, They will respond. I know it. Meanwhile, on Earth, back on Earth, inside the underground command center known as the Core, 4 generals and 3 world leaders sat at a table. The screen in front of them showed the final seconds of the transmission. The beam, the dust, the silence. No one spoke for a minute. Then Commander Alea Grant, head of Earth's off-world security, stood. They killed him live, publicly. Number 1 replied. She turned to the AI screen next to her. Confirmed death. Visual match. The AI responded in a calm voice. Confirmed. Ambassador Kale Rin, deceased. No life signs. Execution method. High energy, plasma beam. Council action verified. The President of Earth, a tired man in his 60s, closed his eyes. He went there to stop a war. Commander Grant nodded. Yes, and now they've started one. A general asked, What's our next step? The room fell quiet again. Then Grant replied, voice steady, We activate Protocol Reclaimer. All heads turned to her. Are you sure? The President asked. That was never meant to be used unless the Council started a direct war against Earth, she interrupted. They executed a peaceful envoy. That was an act of war, not just to us, but to the idea of peace itself. What about our allies? Someone asked. We have none, Grant said. Not anymore. She walked to the control panel, placed her hand on the scanner. and said two words that hadn't been spoken aloud in decades. Reclaimer activate. Across the solar system, in deep space, far from Earth's surface, something began to move. Giant black objects hidden in asteroid belts opened up like insects waking from sleep. Long, silent warships without names, without ID. Codes began to power up. These were Ghost-class dreadnoughts, part of Earth's most secret defense plan. No species had ever seen them. No species even knew they existed. And now, they were coming. Online. Their orders were simple. No warnings, no mercy. Erase all Council command nodes. Leave no survivors. Back in the Council chamber, the Council celebrated. The Torvins drank thick red liquid in honor of Kale's death. News networks across the galaxy ran headlines. Council ends human threat. Peace restored after bold action. Earth now powerless. But in the shadows, some Council members looked worried. The Alarian observer, a race known for studying patterns in history, whispered to his assistant, "The humans will not forget this. They will not forgive this." "But what can they do?" the assistant asked. "There, one system." The observer looked out the window, into the stars. One system, he said softly, was all they ever needed. For the first 3 days after Ambassador Kale's execution, Earth said nothing. No messages, no speeches, no threats. The galaxy waited. Some thought Earth was too scared to respond. Others believed humans were planning something dangerous. But no one knew for sure. The galactic news grid was filled with voices. Maybe Earth has accepted its place. Perhaps humans were never a real threat. One death solved 1,000 problems. But far from the noise, deep inside Earth's solar system, preparations had already begun. Inside Earth's core, Command Commander Alea Grant stood in front of a giant screen deep under Earth's crust, where sunlight never reached. This secret bunker was called the core, and only a few people in all of humanity knew it existed. The screen showed blinking, red dots, locations across the galaxy, Council bases, communication hubs, supply chains. They were all marked. "Are they moving yet?" she asked. A young officer replied, "Not yet, Commander. No new fleet activity, no defensive deployments. They think we're silent because we're weak." Grant didn't smile. She simply nodded. "Good, let them believe it a little longer." She turned to the massive wall of weapons logs. Black ships, Ghost dreadnoughts, Null bombers, and Echo stealth cruisers were being activated one by one. Each had been hidden for decades. Each was now waking. In orbit around Jupiter, near Jupiter's stormy surface, a ship called the HSS Silent Reaper uncloaked for the first time in 30 years. It had no visible weapons, no heat signatures, no light. It moved like a shadow in space. On board, Captain Reva Lang stood beside her crew. All were silent. All were trained for one mission only: strike without warning. She received a short message from Earth. Target grid Delta 5 orders. Observe only. Do not engage. She nodded. Prepare deep cloak. Let's see what the galaxy's most powerful Council is really doing. The ship vanished again, becoming part of the blackness between stars. Across the Galaxy Council territory, the Galactic Council, believing Earth had been silenced by fear, returned to business. They passed new trade laws. They signed more pacts. The news channels praised their brave and final action against the humans. In the main chamber, the Torvin general, the one who shouted the loudest for Kale's execution, gave a speech. Earth was a rising threat. We cut the head off the snake. Now, the stars are safe. Council members clapped. Some genuinely believed it, but others did not feel so sure. The Veltar Queen, who had voted yes but hesitated, spoke softly to her advisor. Humans are patient. They wait. They watch. Then they strike. But they have done nothing, the advisor said. Exactly, she replied. That is what scares me. Strange things begin on day 5. A supply base in Sector 47 went silent. No calls, no distress. Just gone. The Council blamed a meteor. On day 6. A patrol ship near the edge of Council space sent a final message. We see shadows moving too fast. No ID, can't lock. Then silence. The Council said it was a technical error. On day 7, a trade station's power grid went offline. When a rescue team arrived, they found no people, no bodies, nothing. Only one thing remained: a small metal badge with Earth's crest, placed neatly in the command chair. That was the first sign Earth had spoken. Earth's real power revealed back on Earth. Protocol Reclaimer moved into Phase 2. Hundreds of stealth ships were now deep inside enemy space. Their job was not just destruction, it was mapping weaknesses. Commander. Grant watched the reports. Council communication lines were easy to jam, defense satellites had blind spots. Central Command was slow, stuck in political arguments. They're not ready, she said. What about the inner worlds? One officer asked. We'll save them for last, she replied. Let them watch the walls fall before we take the castle. She gave her next order. Send Reclaimer Unit 12 to the core council network. Don't destroy it, just let them feel us. The message on day 9, inside the main council station, every screen went black. Then a single image appeared. It was Kale Rinnath's executed diplomat, but this time he was smiling. No words, no threat, just his calm, human face. Looking at them. Then, the screens shut off. Council members screamed for answers. Technicians said nothing could stop the signal. It had come from inside their own systems. The Torvan general roared. It's a trick, a ghost. They're trying to scare us. But the others looked around, and for the first time they were afraid. A galaxy begins to whisper across neutral planets and outer colonies. Aliens began to whisper about what Earth was doing. They haven't spoken, they haven't moved openly, but things are disappearing. Some called it human revenge, some called it justice, others called it something worse. One popular message was shared secretly across space. When a human is quiet, that's when you run. Even planets that supported the Council began to wonder if they were safe. Inside a secret moon base on a dark moon orbiting a dying star, Earth had built a hidden station long ago. It was now the command point for Ghost Operations 7. There, Agent Thorne, one of Earth's most dangerous operatives, led a team of infiltrators. He had a mission: take control of the Council's backup AI, the brain behind all their war decisions. They had 6 hours. Thorne looked at his team, all dressed in grey-black suits, with no symbols, and no noise, no survivors. We leave only one thing. What? One asked. Thorne smiled coldly. A memory. The Council starts to crack by day 10. The Council was in chaos. Fleets were pulled back. Defense systems were overloaded. Member planets started to question the Council's leadership. One alien senator yelled in a broadcast, "You executed a diplomat. What did you think would happen?" Another shouted, "Earth hasn't even fired yet and they're winning." The chair of the Council tried to calm them. "We will open a line of communication with Earth," but Earth refused to respond. The galaxy was still trying to understand what was happening. Earth had gone silent after the execution of their envoy, Kale Rin, but silence was not weakness. It was warning that now things were starting to disappear. Not just ships, not just bases, but entire systems were going quiet. A Council patrol vanishes in a distant sector known as Thatanine. A patrol group of 5 ships was sent by the Galactic Council. Their mission was simple: scan the outer edge of human space for unusual activity. They never returned at first. Council Command thought it was a signal issue, but when backup arrived 4 hours later, they found nothing. No debris, no ship parts, no black box. Only a small metal cube floating in space, a human tech relic. It was clean, polished, and cold to the touch. Etched on the side was a single word: watched. The backup team didn't touch it. They turned and left, afraid they would vanish. Commander Grant watches from the core back on Earth. Commander Alea Grant stood with arms crossed in the core control room. Screens showed incoming reports from far corners of the galaxy. Her plan was working. Thatanine group confirmed gone, an officer reported. No distress signal, no data. Silent removal. Good, she replied. What's the public reaction? Fear, uncertainty. Smaller member planets are asking if the Council made a mistake by killing the envoy. Grant nodded. Let them doubt. Doubt breaks empires. She turned to another screen showing hidden camera feeds from inside a Council hangar. Ghost drones had hacked the feed 2 days ago. What's the status of Reclaimer Team 7? She asked. Inside Council space. Shadowing Major Fleet without being detected. Perfect, Grant whispered. Let the Council keep guessing. Inside the Council's war room, the Council war room was in panic mode. Dozens of alien generals argued. Maps blinked red across several sectors. Communication logs were being overwhelmed with civilian fear reports. The Torvan general, red-scaled and furious, slammed his claw on the table. This is terrorism. Earth is striking from the shadows. The Veltar Queen clicked her sharp legs on the marble floor. Not terrorism. Strategy, precision. Not one civilian death reported. They're only erasing military targets. The Council, chair glowing in a shell of silver mist, spoke in frustration. We killed their diplomat. We expected anger, not ghosts. Another leader, from the aquatic Yulari race, said quietly, they didn't speak because they didn't need to. We spoke too much. Disappearance number 2. The Crystal Forge 3 days later. The Council's Crystal Forge, a massive energy facility that powered weapons for 5 Council fleets, went dark. A ship arrived to investigate. There were no explosions, no battle damage. The forge was just empty. Hundreds of workers gone, security droids offline, walls untouched, no signs of a fight. It looked like everyone had stood up and walked away in the middle of work. Again left behind a small Earth-made compass. It was pointing toward Council Prime. The message was clear. We're not just here, we're coming for you. Captain Reva Lang's mission aboard the Silent Reaper. Captain Reva Lang received her next orders. Target: Shadow Station 9. Capture all data, no sound, no light, no death. She smiled. That was her specialty. Her crew moved like ghosts. They wore armor that absorbed sound. Their weapons were never fired, only used if absolutely needed. They entered the station quietly. 12 minutes later, every computer inside Shadow Station 9 was copied. Every file stolen. Every hard drive wiped. When the Council arrived to investigate, they found only an empty chair with a note printed in human font. We warned you. Galaxy starts to shake. The galaxy couldn't ignore the signs anymore. Over 10 military targets were erased in 1 week. No damage, no war, just silence. Alien reporters began using a new word: the disappearances. Some said Earth was using a new weapon. Others believed they had powerful AI. A few even said the humans had made deals with extra-dimensional beings. The truth was simpler. Earth was using knowledge, planning, and fear, and it was working. On a mining planet and a Council mining colony. In the outer belt, workers found a strange crate outside their security gate that it had no markings except for the Earth crest and the initials KRKROYNN. Inside was a single Council communication disc with a voice recording. This is what happens when peace is met with murder. 3 minutes later, all mining operations stopped. The machines locked up. The lights shut off. Every camera feed cut. When the Council sent a team later that night, the planet was abandoned. No people, no signs of struggle, just a giant human flag waving in the wind outside the control tower. The Council begins to fracture. Small Council member planets began to panic. Several colonies pulled their fleets back to defend their own worlds. A Council delegate from the desert planet Ruviax stood up in session. This is madness. We've awakened a species that studied us for 50 years and never said a word. And we executed their envoy, the Torvan general shouted. They are weak cowards, hiding in shadows. But even as he spoke, a quiet sound echoed from every terminal in the room. A heartbeat, a single, slow human heartbeat. Then Kale Rin's voice. Earth remembers. Earth's next move back in Earth's core. Commander Grant met with Earth's top AI strategist, a system called VIGIL-7. Status update, she asked. Council fleet patterns have shifted to defensive, civil unrest rising, confidence level, 39%. And the Council itself, divided. Torvans want full war, Veltar want peace. Half the Council is asking if they should contact Earth. Grant looked at the screen. Maps flickered red and green. Earth had become the ghost in their minds. No, she said. Let them talk to shadows. We talk last. She turned to her operations officer. Send Reclaimer Units 8 and 9 to strategic position near Council Prime. Tell them to watch and wait. Final disappearance of the Parton Day 21 after Kale's death. The largest Council communications relay. The Arcspire blinked out. No blast, no EMP. Just gone. Every channel went dead. All emergency lines failed. Fleets lost contact with command. Panic erupted, and once again only one thing was found on the platform's central terminal. A hologram of Kale Rin standing in silence. He didn't speak. He didn't move. He just stood and waited. The stars were quiet. But the galaxy was not. Every planet, every colony, every spaceport had the same fear now. Something was moving through the dark. Something fast. Something silent and very human. No one had seen the ships clearly. No one had survived long enough to explain them. But rumors spread like wildfire. There's a fleet that doesn't speak. It travels without light, without sound. They erase, not destroy. They were called the Ghost Fleet. And no one knew where they would strike next. In the outer rim, in the cold silence, near the edge of the galaxy, a small cargo station floated near an asteroid belt. It was an old station, barely defended. Inside, 2 alien workers argued about the news. Humans are just good at hacking, one said. All this Ghost Fleet stuff, just fear. The other shook his head. You didn't see what I saw. A petite ship blinked into view just outside. No signal, no markings. It floated like it was watching me. The first laughed. And then what? Did it disappear? The second worker didn't laugh. Yes. That night, the station's power failed for 6 minutes. When it came back on, one storage bay was gone. Cut clean, as if it had never existed. Inside, Earth's Core Command Commander Alea Grant looked at a screen filled with movement. Ghost-class ships were spreading across Council-controlled space like quiet shadows. Report, she said. Operation Phantom, Echo complete. Ghost Fleet Units Alpha through Epsilon have entered key systems undetected. Any confirmed contact? None. They haven't seen us, only heard. Whispers. She nodded. Good. Continue monitoring. No direct fire unless ordered. She turned to her second-in-command. They need to fear us before they ever see us. The officer smirked. Right now, they fear shadows. The Council begins to break in the Galactic Council chamber. Panic was growing fast. The Torvin General, once loud and proud, was now silent. The Veltar Queen clicked nervously every 5 seconds, a sign of deep stress. The council chair floated lower than usual, his glow dimmer. We've lost contact with 13 fleets, one ambassador shouted. A station on planet Vir was taken apart, piece by piece, without any weapon fire. Another added, "This is not war." A third screamed, "This is psychological destruction." One voice finally spoke above them all. It was the Illyrian observer, a calm and ancient being known for studying patterns. "We are not facing Earth's military," he said. "We are facing Earth's patience. And that is far more dangerous." Whispers reached the streets across normal worlds, places with shops, families, students. Fear had arrived. Kids whispered stories about black ships that ate stars. Merchants sold fake human-proof helmets. Even soldiers began to hesitate. In one popular bar on a moon called Dravik, a group of alien mercenaries argued. "It's not real," said one. "Just council lies to keep us afraid." But another leaned in, lowering his voice. "My brother was on Station Arcus, gone. No distress signal, no explosion, just gone. And they found this." He pulled out a small badge. On it was the image of Earth, surrounded by stars. Burned into the back were words in ancient council tongue. "We offered peace. You answered with blood." The first real glimpse near a forgotten gas giant, a council scout ship picked up a faint energy spike. Curious, the captain turned toward it. "Sensors show a metallic object," the pilot said. "Roughly dreadnought-sized, but no power signature." "Approach carefully," the captain ordered. As they got closer, the lights on their ship flickered. The comms went quiet. Their AI stuttered. Then, for 2 seconds, the shape came into view. A ship, black as the void. Long, sharp, silent, no windows, no engines visible, no name. The captain's heart raced. Back away now. But before they could turn, the Ghost Fleet ship was gone. Vanished, like it had never been there. Panic in the council. After the scout ship's report reached the council, panic exploded. Some demanded full war, others begged to open talks with Earth. The Torvin General smashed a display screen in rage. "They won't talk, they want to make us crawl." But the Veltar Queen, now visibly shaken, said softly, "We made them crawl first, when we killed their diplomat. Maybe they are only showing us what we did to them." The council chair asked, "What does Earth want?" No one had an answer. Meanwhile, Earth waits inside the hidden control room of a moon called Talon 3. Captain Reva Lang stood with her crew. They had just returned from a deep recon mission inside Council Core. She sent her report to Commander Grant. "Council is divided. Half want peace, half want war. All are terrified." "Any response from their top brass?" Grant asked. "Only silence. They're watching shadows and hearing footsteps that don't exist." Grant smiled. "Then we're right where we want to be." Civilian planets begin to turn on dozens of outer worlds. Local leaders began pulling out of the council, quietly, secretly. They didn't announce it. They simply stopped answering council orders. On Zareth, a desert planet with a large military academy, a full training center shut down. In its place, students held a silent march, wearing plain black clothes. When asked why, one student said, "We killed someone who came to us in peace. If humans wanted war, they would have already won." The Ghost Fleet sends a message. One council data station remained untouched. The central core relay, used to send messages across all systems. It was heavily guarded, but on the morning of the 31st day after Kale's death, every screen blinked off for exactly 9 seconds. Then one single image played across the galaxy. Kale Rin standing alone behind him, a line of black ships stretching into the stars. He spoke one sentence, "This is your shadow. You created it. We just gave it shape. Then the signal ended. No station could trace where it came from. Inside the council, collapse begins. The council chair finally broke. We must open communication, officially, publicly. They'll never respond, the Veltar Queen said. Then we offer surrender. You want to give them the galaxy, the Torvan general shouted. No, said the Illyrian observer. We already did the moment we silenced their voice. Silence filled the chamber. They all knew. The Ghost Fleet hadn't fired a single shot, but it had already won the war of fear. The Galactic Council Hall, once the most secure place in the galaxy, now felt like a prison. Security bots paced every hallway, guards checked every corner, lights stayed on 24 hours a day. Some delegates didn't sleep, others didn't eat, but none of them could stop thinking about one thing. Where is the Ghost Fleet right now? Shadows near Council Prime above the planet Council Prime. Hundreds of defense satellites scanned space. Nothing entered without being scanned, tagged, and tracked. But suddenly, the system reported false images. One moment, the sky was clear. The next, it wasn't. For 2.4 seconds, one of the main satellites picked up a massive shadow. It looked like a fleet, dozens of black ships. Then, it vanished. The signal was dismissed as an error, but some engineers saw it clearly. They're here, one whispered. They're already here. Inside the council chamber, the mood inside the council was pure fear. The Veltar Queen tapped her legs fast. The Torvan general no longer shouted. The council chair, dim and flickering, seemed unsure what to say. An emergency meeting was called. All major members were present, except one. The Khan, Dominion, a powerful ally, had gone silent. No messages, no delegates. Just gone. What if they've already been hit? One asked. Impossible, said another. They were deep in council space. That's what we thought about the Crystal Forge. Someone replied. Silence followed. Earth still says nothing. Back on Earth, Commander Alea Grant stood over a glowing war map. Every council world, base and fleet was tracked. She knew the council was close to collapse, but she didn't speak to them. She didn't send threats. Instead, she waited. Her AI Vigil-7 said, They have requested communication again, 10 times today. Ignore it, Grant said. They are offering peace, apology, even shared control of trade routes. Too late, she replied. They wanted to rule, now they learn. She pressed a button on her command screen. Send the Ghost Fleet into full position. No weapons. Just show them we are already in their skies. Panic on the streets in Council Prime and other inner worlds. People started to panic. The streets filled with protesters. Signs read, Where is the Council's protection? Bring back our ships. Earth is already here. Stores closed. Flights were cancelled. Entire cities locked down. Many citizens, once proud of the council, now asked, Why did you kill the human diplomat? Even soldiers were beginning to question their orders. One young officer whispered to his commander, If Earth wanted us dead, we'd be dead. They're waiting. But for what? Whispers from the Ghost Fleet Council defense officers reported strange signals in deep space. They weren't messages. They were more like whispers, sounds of moving metal, static, and something stranger, breathing. Ships that tried to track the source failed. Others disappeared. One old scout pilot returned after 2 days in deep space. He looked terrified. I saw them, he whispered. So many, silent, watching. They flew through our patrols like ghosts. Did they attack? Someone asked. No, the pilot said. They just watched us, then left. Why would they leave? The pilot didn't answer. He just stared ahead and repeated, They're waiting for something. A surprise message after 35 days of silence. A message arrived at the Council's private war channel. It came from Earth. One sentence. We are inside your sky. You buried peace. Now dig up your fear. Nothing else. No voice. No sound. Just words. The message was signed. K.R. Kael Rin, the human envoy they executed. Some council members wept. Others ran out of the chamber. The Veltar Queen stood and whispered. They've already won, and we don't even know how. Earth moves closer inside the Silent Reaper. Captain Reva Lang watched Council Prime from high orbit. Her ship was completely cloaked. Behind her were 10 more Ghost-class dreadnoughts, all waiting, all watching. No weapons active, no signals sent. It was a silent message to the Council. You are not safe, not even here. She sent a status update to Earth. We are above their capital. They don't even know how many of us there are. Mission ready. Commander Grant replied with 2 words. Hold position. The Council's last plan out of fear. The Council secretly created Operation Skynet, a trap to lure out Earth's Ghost Fleet. They placed a fake distress signal on a moon near Council Prime, filled it with hidden weapons, and waited. 2 days passed. No response. Then the moon's entire surface turned to glass. No explosion, no human ship was seen. Just silence. Later, a drone scan found one object at the center of the moon, a chair, and in that chair sat a metal statue of Kaorin, smiling. Civil uprising begins on Council Prime. Citizens broke into the streets again, not in protest, but in revolt. People were tired of fear. They no longer trusted their leaders. Police dropped weapons. Even soldiers refused orders. A voice was heard on every public screen, not from Earth, but from the people. We brought this on ourselves. We made Earth our enemy. We killed peace. Now we live in silence. The Council lost control of the planet. The final signal from Earth back on Earth. Commander Grant stood inside Core Command, staring at the stars. The galaxy had changed. The Council was broken, but still, she waited. Finally, she spoke to her team. One final message. Send it across all systems, her officer asked. What should it say? Grant answered, tell them this. The message was sent. It played across the galaxy, on every screen, every ship, every station. Kaorin's voice. We asked for peace. You gave us death. Now you understand. Silence is not weakness. It is patience. We are not here to rule you. We are here to show you what fear feels like. The message ended with Earth's flag slowly turning black. The galaxy had changed. What began as one human diplomat's execution had turned into something no one could stop. The Council thought they could crush Earth's spirit. Instead, Earth crushed their certainty. Now the real operation, the one Earth planned even before Kaorin's death was ready. It had one name. Operation Reclaimer. Inside Core Command, Earth Commander Alea Grant stood at the center of the control deck. Eyes cold, voice calm. Around her, dozens of officers watched as maps, logs, and feeds showed a galaxy on the edge of collapse. She turned to her AI partner, Vigil -7. Status. Council communications are fractured. Outer colonies have gone silent or turned neutral. Civilian trust in the Council, 12%. Remaining active fleets, 9. Panic level, extreme. Grant nodded once. Phase 1 was silence. Phase 2 was fear. Phase 3 was collapse. She stared at the screen showing Council Prime. Now comes Reclaimer. It's time to clean what they poisoned. Ghost Fleet goes active all across the galaxy. Earth's hidden ships dormant for weeks suddenly came to life. In deep space. Dark dreadnoughts uncloaked on hidden moons. Stealth bombers ignited their drives. From asteroid belts, black cruisers emerged from shadows. But still, they did not attack. Instead, they spread out, moving not toward planets, but data hubs, supply centers, command towers, the infrastructure of the Council's power, where the Council had ruled with politics and pressure. Earth was now moving to reclaim, not through blood, through control. Inside, a Council command tower on the icy world of Barracks, a Council command tower flickered with failing power. 2 alien officers sat in the dark, watching their systems blink offline one by one. Is this the attack? One asked. No bombs, no fire, just emptiness. Suddenly, the door to their control room opened by itself. No footsteps, no sound. A cold wind blew in. On the floor lay a black cube. One officer picked it up and activated it. Kaorin's voice echoed in the room. We reclaim what you built on bones. The screen went black. Reclaimer units land silently in 10 major Council zones. Earth's Reclaimer units landed without sound, without light. These were not soldiers in armor. They were experts engineers, data specialists, cyber war veterans. Their job wasn't destruction, that it was replacement. They erased Council code and uploaded Earth's own systems. They turned Council networks into Earth's domain. They hacked ships still floating in orbit, turned their weapons off and sent them home. Under Earth's new command. In some sectors, local alien leaders didn't resist. They welcomed it. The Council ruled with fear. One said, Earth rules with silence and memory. Reclaimer captures the core net back in Core Command. Vigil-7 gave a sharp report. Council core net seized. We now control 92% of active infrastructure. Commander Grant leaned forward. Response: none. Most members have fled. Others are hiding. Any contact from the Council chair. His ship tried to leave Council Prime. It was intercepted. Grant raised an eyebrow. Did we stop him? No. We just turned his ship around. He's back in orbit. Grant smirked. Let him sit there. Let him watch as everything he controlled turns against him. The message Earth broadcasts. Full control of the core net. Earth sent a galaxy-wide message, its first direct speech since Kale Rin was executed. It was a video. Kale's image, calm and quiet, filled every screen. We came in peace. You answered with violence. We offered a hand. You answered with a blade. We asked to join. You forced us to kneel. Now we rise, not to destroy you, but to remind you. Memory matters. Then the screen changed. A list appeared. A list of every colony, world, and sector where the Council oppressed others, places Earth had now freed. At the bottom, the words, "We reclaim truth, not thrones." A galaxy begins to shift as Earth's reclaimer teams spread. Something strange happened. The galaxy began to calm down. Pirate attacks dropped. Trade routes reopened. Civilian protests stopped. Earth didn't ask for taxes. It didn't claim ownership. It simply made systems run better. Even former Council supporters began to question everything. One alien scientist said, "Earth is not punishing us. They're showing us what the Council stole from us." A strange visit to Council Prime. After 2 full weeks of silence from Earth's ships above Council Prime, something unexpected happened. A single unarmed Earth shuttle landed in front of the broken Council Hall. Inside was no army, just one person, Kale Rin's sister, Ambassador Elaine Rin. She walked into the chamber alone, stood before the empty seats, and placed her brother's badge on the central table. "He came here hoping for peace," she said. "You killed him because he made you uncomfortable." She looked around. "Now we've taken what you used to rule, and made it work without you." She turned to leave. "You may keep your council seats, but no one's listening to you anymore." Final steps of Operation Reclaimer. Commander Grant watched from Earth as each mission reported success. Satellite grids, restored shipyards, active under Earth control, food supplies, rerouted to starving colonies, weapons, locked down unless defense was needed. YGIL-7 said, "We've achieved full systems recovery. The Council's rule is now history." Grant took a deep breath. "Then it's time we said something real." She walked to the broadcast room. Earth's last message. This was Earth's final message. The whole galaxy heard it. "We are not here to rule. We are not here to conquer. We are here to remember. You killed one voice, so we gave you silence, and in silence you listened. If you seek peace, build it. If you seek power, be. Because Earth forgets nothing." Then the screen faded and never turned back on. The war never officially started. There were no great space battles, no heroic charges, no broken planets. But still, everyone in the galaxy remembered it. Not because of what was destroyed, but because of what was reclaimed after the silence. It had been 3 weeks since Earth completed Operation Reclaimer. Council fleets had returned to their home systems. Many were powered down. Others had been quietly absorbed into Earth's rebuilt network. A few refused to obey Earth's new infrastructure and simply stopped working altogether. Now, in many parts of the galaxy, something new was happening. Aliens spoke not of war, but of change. On world after world, people looked up at the stars and whispered the same name, Kale Rin. A statue on Virazon, the former council world of Viraz, a planet once used as a weapons factory. Something strange appeared overnight. In the center of the capital city, workers arrived to find a massive stone statue. It was Kale. He wasn't holding a weapon. He wasn't wearing armor. He was simply standing with his arms at his sides. One palm open in peace, carved into the stone, was a short sentence. He spoke. We didn't listen. No one claimed to have built the statue. No cameras saw who placed it, but no one removed it. Instead, flowers were left at its base. Even by former enemies. Council Prime, a city without power on Council Prime. The once bright capital was now half dark. Systems had not been restored. Not because Earth refused, but because Earth no longer needed to be there. That the people themselves began cleaning up. They rewired their own cities. They repaired their own hospitals. They elected new local leaders. The old council building remained untouched, empty, cold, and quiet. Inside it, the council chair sat alone. No guards, no allies. Just a datapad, looping one sentence again and again. We offered peace. You offered silence. We returned a favor. Commander Grant watches quietly back on Earth. Commander Alea Grant stood outside the core command building. There were no celebrations, no speeches, just wind and sky. Beside her, VIGIL-7 reported, system-wide response to Operation remains stable. Most outer colonies are operating better than ever. Trade flow up by 27%. Civil unrest down by 61%. She nodded, and the council no longer functional. Some members have gone into hiding, others are building hospitals. Grant raised an eyebrow. Hospitals. They say Earth's silence taught them what real pain looks like. She sighed. Let them heal, but never let them forget. A school on Halvix 3, on a peaceful farming world called Halvix 3. A young alien child sat in school. The teacher pointed to a photo on the wall. It was Kale Rin. Who can tell me who this is? The child raised his hand. He was a human. He came in peace, but the council killed him. The teacher nodded. And what happened next? Another child answered. Earth didn't speak. They just made everything stop. The teacher smiled sadly. And what did we learn? The first child replied quietly. That peace is stronger than war. When someone remembers Earth, sends one more gift from a quiet ship above a water planet. Earth dropped a small package into orbit. It opened slowly, revealing tools, seeds, and medical supplies. A simple message played from a hologram. Use what we gave. Fix what you broke. There was no signature, and no message of control. Just helped up. Planets began to see more of these silent gifts. Earth's ships dropped supplies and then disappeared, saying nothing. Some asked, why help us now? Others answered, because Earth didn't want revenge. They wanted us to understand. A private message to the Velta Queen one day. The Velta Queen, one of the few council leaders who had questioned Kale's execution, received a private message that it was voice only. Kale Rin's voice. Your world hesitated that day. You saw the truth before others. You lost power, but kept your heart. We remember that. Then silence. No one else received a message like that. And when her people asked who it was from, she simply said, a man who spoke peace, and taught the stars to listen. Ghost Fleet disappears one by one. Earth's Ghost Fleet began to vanish again, not in retreat but in choice. Some ships returned to Earth, others went deeper into unknown space. A few stayed behind, silent watchers seen only by those who looked carefully. The Ghost Fleet had no leader, no flag. No need for glory. Their job was finished, but the message remained in every command tower and every alien heart. If peace is broken again, they will return. A grave without a body on Earth. In a quiet garden behind Core Command, a stone lay flat on the ground. It had no grave under it. Kale's body was never returned. It had been burned by the council. But still, the stone was there. Word was carved into it. Remembered. Each week someone left flowers there. Sometimes a soldier, sometimes a child, sometimes an alien. One day Commander Grant stood there alone. She whispered, you didn't die for war, Kale. You died trying to stop it, and now they know. The galaxy speaks of legends began. On desert worlds, people said Cal's voice could still be heard on the wind. On icy moons, rumors spread that his face appeared in cracked glass. On mining colonies, children played a game called the Silent Fleet, pretending to erase injustice without firing a shot. None of it was true, but the memory was real. Kale had become more than a diplomat. He had become a symbol not of war but of quiet strength. The stars were quiet again. No warships flew through council space. No alarms echoed from defense towers. No diplomats shouted across screens. The war never had a name. It had no great battle, no single day of surrender, but everyone remembered what it cost. On Earth, a silent ceremony. A small group stood in the Garden of Memory behind Earth's Core Command. There were no flags, no marching bands, only quiet. Commander Alea Grant placed a hand on a stone marked with one word, remembered. It was Kale Rinstone, no body beneath it, just memory. By her side stood children, soldiers, scientists, and even visitors from alien worlds. Each had come to say one thing, thank you. A young boy asked softly, was he a hero? Grant didn't answer right away. Then she said, he was brave, not because he fought, but because he hoped. What the council became. The council was no longer what it used to be. The great council hall remained closed, its seats empty. But across the galaxy, smaller groups formed local coalitions focused on rebuilding, not ruling. Some called them shadow councils, others called them the listening circles. Their new rule was simple: no decision without voices, no war without memory, no silence without reason. For the first time, power was shared not just between species, but between ideas. And everywhere, Kale's name was whispered not in fear or shame, but as a reminder, Earth's choice. In Earth's Core Command, a vote was held. The question was simple. Now that the council is gone, do we take leadership of the galaxy? The answer, no. Commander Grant stood before her people and said, we showed them strength. Now we show them trust. We do not rule, we support, we protect, we remember. Earth didn't build an empire. They built bridges. And across those bridges walked scientists, doctors, teachers, even former enemies. The price they paid, but not all things were fixed. Some planets still lived with pain. Some species lost whole generations during the Council's rule. Others had turned cruel, following Council orders without thinking. One such being was General Tarek, once a feared leader in the Veltar military. Now he sat in a small room, alone, waiting for a message from Earth. He had sent a single sentence: "I followed orders. I never questioned. Tell me how to live with that." Weeks passed. Then a message arrived. It was a video. Kale Rin's voice again. "The first step to peace is truth. Tell it. Share it. Own it. The galaxy will never forget what we did. But if we face it, neither will we." The Ghost Fleet's final act from far beyond the stars. A signal was sent that it came from a small Ghost-class ship, drifting at the edge of known space. The message was not one of threat. It simply said, "Last. Observation complete. Civil order stable. Conflict below 1.2%. Galaxy breathing again. We sleep." Then silence. The Ghost Fleet had returned to the dock, hidden, waiting, watching. Not to control, but to remind. A gift from Earth to every world once ruled by the Council. Earth sent a small black cube. Inside each cube was a library full of stories, history, science, and art, but also the full video of Kale Rin's first speech. And the moment he was killed, nothing was hidden, nothing was edited. Every species now saw what had been done, and what Earth had done in return. One alien child, after watching the video, asked his father, "Why didn't Earth fight with fire?" The father replied, "Because fire burns fast, but memory burns forever." The new voice of Pai-san, the anniversary of Kale's death. Earth sent one final broadcast. This time, it was Elaine Rin, Kale's sister, who stood before the galaxy. She spoke softly, clearly. "My brother died because he believed in peace, not peace made of rules, but peace built from understanding. You cannot force peace. You must remember it, protect it, build it together." She paused, then added, "We will not forget what happened, and we hope you won't either. That's how we make sure it never happens again." A quiet world on a green world once bombed by Council fleets, now regrown and blooming. A group of alien children played in a field. One of them pretended to be a diplomat, another a quiet human ship. A third stood in silence and held up a hand. The others stopped. "Why aren't you speaking?" one asked. The silent child replied, "Because sometimes silence is the loudest answer." They nodded and kept playing. Final message from Commander Grant alone in her room. Commander Alea Grant recorded her last personal log. She stared at the screen and said, "There is no perfect peace. Someone always pays the price. In our case, it was a voice. A man named Kale. He didn't wear armor. He didn't carry a gun. He carried hope." She looked away for a moment, then back. "So we honored him not with missiles, but with memory. That is how Earth wins, and that is how we protect peace." She ended the recording. Then walked into the evening light.